Hello lovebirds, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am dyeing my eyebrows back from bleach blonde back to a natural complementing shade. Now, I know it's been just a short amount of bleach brows time. The last time I did it, I kept it for about 5 months. But in this instant, I've grown tired of them quite quickly, so luckily I can do everything I want by myself. So I'm going to show you guys today how to dye your eyebrows back from bleach blonde to a natural shade. So first up, I'm going to show you what is in my dyeing kit, and I'm going to show you everything you'll need to dye your eyebrows back to a natural shade. Now, there are multiple ways, there are multiple products. This is just what I have found to have worked best for me. This is how I was taught, so I won't stray far from this technique anytime soon. Alright, let's open her up. First up, a little bowl, because we need something to mix in. I've got a 6% developer again, because it goes really quickly. You don't want to go with a too high percentage. I have got a color off, which is quite important if you mess up a little bit, because, you know, it is a dye, it can stain your skin, so if you fuck up really badly, then this is your best friend. I've always got tons of throwaway spoolies in my bag, and then on to the most important part, the dye. So, you know, you've got products like Rectisil and those kinds of stuff, but this is how I was taught by a professional colorist called Lauren, and Lauren recommended these two shades for a really natural color in your brows. So it is a series called Koleston from Wella Professional. This is called Koleston Perfect. Now, they have a beautiful range of natural hair colors. Now, these two numbers, quite important, are number 5 and number 7. And number 5 is light brown, and the number 7 is blonde natural. Now, the tinier you go in number, the darker the shade will be. Now, I've found that mixing these together works absolutely perfectly, and it gives me a slight ashy undertone in my brows, which I'm really happy about, because the last thing I want is super brown eyebrows. Alright, let's get to mixing. First up, it's really important to start with clean, grease-free brows, because otherwise the dye will not catch on. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of Bioderma and a cotton pad and just clean those eyebrows until they're crease-free. Make sure to be gentle on the skin, but you don't have to be as gentle as, for example, with the bleach, because these chemicals are just a little less harsh, and under any circumstance you want to avoid touching the actual skin, so it's less detrimental if you are a little bit rough, but still you need to be kind to your skin. Grabbing a tissue, drying them off. There we go. Then it is mixing time. Now, it's kind of the same as with the bleach. You want to get a yogurt-like texture, but obviously the color isn't going to be blue, it's going to be a whole different color. So I'm grabbing my 2 shades of Koleston, and I'm just going to grab a pea size of each color and putting that into the bowl. It's a little more than I wanted, but I've got a whole tube to use, so it's fine. Obviously, we are not dyeing that much hair, so you need just the tiniest amount of everything. So with my 6% developer, I'm gonna pour a little bit into it and mix a paste. Now, I always find that a slightly thicker paste just works a little bit better for me, because it gives me a little bit more control over the product, and there's less hazard of anything falling onto my clothing, for example. So if you're going to do this and you've never done it before, please wear something old. Then you want to grab onto a little bit of product, but roll off the spoolie as well as you can, because this requires a little bit more subtlety, a little bit more control to not get any of the dye onto your skin. Obviously it's not detrimental if you do, because we've got the color off, but if we can avoid it, it's much better. So what I usually do is just start at the tips and back comb it a little bit, because we slowly want to work our way up to the brow root, which is quite difficult, I have to admit, without touching the skin. Now, because dye works really, really quickly on bleached hair, you want to do the other brow as quickly as you can and then start adding on with more product. As you can already see, it's starting to change color. Do you see that color changing? That's how quickly you need to be. Now the brows will go to a slightly orangey shade first, before going to a more workable color. Just keep an eye on it as well as you can. But this whole process is a lot quicker than the whole bleaching process. So make sure you keep a cleanser nearby to get rid of any dye in between. Now let me just say, if you do not feel comfortable with this whole process, there are a lot of salons that do brow tinting. So maybe if you are not feeling comfortable with this, go to a brow tinting salon so you don't end up looking like some weird exotic bird. Now you can see that these hairs are starting to grow into a more natural shade. That I might need a little bit more product on the ends. And then it's just a waiting game. Now we're in about 5 minutes and this brow is going towards the right color. So you really have to keep an eye on it to see where the color is at and at what point you actually want to take off the dye. So don't go sit in front of the TV if you're doing this. Just keep an eye on it, pay attention, and everything should work out fine. I think I'm going to leave it on for about 3 more minutes before taking it off. So as this one is turning quite dark, this one still needs a tiny bit more of time, but I'm going to take this one off to see where we are and reapply if necessary. Make sure you remove each and every little part of that dye. And obviously in the beginning it can be quite dark, but once you brush it upwards, you can see there's nothing amiss. That is a dyed brown. I'm just going to take off the other one as well, just to see where we are. But I don't think I want to reapply anything. I think they're dark enough. Obviously dye will lighten up after a few days, so they might be quite dark in the beginning. I think I've done quite a decent job in avoiding the skin, and luckily I already had a little bit of brow root peeking through, so I didn't really have to push it all the way towards the skin. Now everything that will grow out will be my natural color, and then within probably a month it's just my regular brow again. Now, I do feel that this one is a tiny bit lighter than that one, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of dye onto the tips, leave it on for a minute, and then take it off again. I think a minute has passed. Let's take the other brow off as well. Alright, lovebirds, so to get a full brow back, you might notice that there's really little hair here, And you might think now, oh, it's because she's been bleaching her brows. Unfortunately not. I went to my beauty specialist, well, another one that I usually go to, and she plucked my eyebrows, but she took away so much in the middle, which I normally don't like. So yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that with makeup today. So first up, I'm just gonna brush up my brows, and I'm gonna fill them in with the Precisely My Brow, just to define the shape. I'm using the shade 3.5, just to map out my shape a little bit, but not really get into it hard. Just filling in those odd little gaps. Now that already makes quite a difference. Then to get a little bit more depth within the brow itself, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the perfect brow pencil, and I use the color Granite because it's the most ashy one there is, which is absolutely perfect for me. So I'm just going to create a little bit of depth with this darker pencil. Hardly use any pressure at all. It's just that one eyebrow pencil usually just gives this weird uniformity to a brow that I don't like. So I go in with the Granite pencil just to define it a little bit more. I do have to say, it's kind of weird. You really need to get used to your own face with brows again. Now, because I am missing quite a bit of hair in the middle area, I'm gonna go in with this beauty of a product. So it's a Color Fix sealer, so it's the Magic Set and Seal, which creates waterproof makeup out of anything. Got this little palette right here, which is Aqua color, and Aqua color is nothing more than just water-based paint. I'm gonna mix that with the Color Fix and then create a color that matches my brows. So I usually go in with this shade and this shade, so I can create a ashy color. Now to finish up, I'm just gonna go in with the Hourglass Arch Brow Shaping Gel in Clear to get everything pointing in the right direction. There you go, there you have it, from 0 to 100 brows in one dyeing session. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Before I forget, I really want to congratulate 3 different winners on winning a Refer brush set. If you see your name in the description box, then please send me a direct message so we can exchange all the necessary info. Thank you for watching, see you next time.